Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
A very good evening to you. This is Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Sonali Wanigabadage.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nadim Majid and these are tonight's headlines. Health warning. Spread of dengue has risen to the level of an epidemic. NTUC demands that all allowances be included in the basic salary of public sector employees. The SLAF says that the debris of a aircraft discovered in the seas of Alutgama does not belong to the Air Force. Renovation work commences on the road in Dambulla that will be named Sirasa Mawata.
Starting off your news for tonight, the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health says that the spread of dengue in the Western Province has reached epidemic proportions. Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Paba Palihavadana says that the MOH divisions where the disease is spreading rapidly have been identified and eradication programs initiated.
39-year-old Thanuja Nishanti was one of the latest victims of the dengue menace. She was admitted to the IDH hospital on the 20th with a fever where doctors had diagnosed her with dengue fever. Thanuja, who received in-house treatment over 10 days, succumbed to the fever this morning, orphaning her only daughter, aged 9.
This has become a high-risk area for dengue. 25 people who contracted the disease within a 50 to 100 meter radius have been hospitalized and some are even in the ICU. What are we to do about this? The authorities must turn their attention to this. That is what is needed.
According to data from the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, 33 dengue-related deaths were reported in the first 5 months of the year.
An epidemic situation is being reported from the Western Province. In the Colombo district, the Dehiwala, Ratmalana, Mount Lavinia, Moratua, Kolonnawa, Piliandala, Maharagama and Bollasgamo medical officers of health divisions are reporting a high number of cases. We have also identified MOH divisions like Gampaha, Jayala, Wattala, Attanagalla and Biyagama. Panadura and Horana are two other MOH divisions where a high number of patients are being reported.
The director of the National Hospital in Colombo, Dr. Anil Jasinga, says that the number of dengue patients admitted to the hospital this month has doubled in comparison to April. 450 dengue patients are receiving in-house treatment at the hospital at present. The number of dengue patients being admitted to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital is also on the rise. Hospital Director Dr. Asela Gunawardena said that as of midnight yesterday, 167 dengue patients were receiving in-house treatment. A doctor at the hospital and 2 nurses are among those being treated for dengue. Director of the Colombo North Teaching Hospital, Dr. Mahinda Samaranayaka, says that 48 dengue patients are receiving in-house treatment at present. Among them are 9 small children. The director of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital, Dr. Linton Padmasiri, says that 62 children who had contracted dengue were admitted to the hospital last week alone. Medical Superintendent at the Watupitiwala Base Hospital, Dr. Sisira Vijayasundara, says that 30 persons, including a small child, are being treated at the hospital at present for dengue. 40 dengue patients are receiving in-house treatment at the Colombo East Base Hospital. Hospital Director Dr. Ajit Tantanarayana says that dilapidated vehicles abandoned on the hospital grounds have become a haven for dengue-carrying mosquitoes. Dr. Tantanarayana adds that the fact that these dilapidated vehicles have been parked close to the ward where the patients are being treated is endangering their lives.
These are vehicles that belong to the Ministry of Health that are no longer in use. They must be auctioned off or moved to another location in the hospital. I have informed the relevant authorities to do this on several occasions.
Meanwhile, our cameras captured evidence of the negligence that has been shown to mitigating the spread of dengue at rapid development projects being undertaken in several parts of the Western Province. While rainwater has been retained in some locations, improper waste disposal has also created a haven for dengue mosquitoes.
What you can see here is a construction site on Muttaya Road in Colombo too. We witnessed here and elsewhere in Colombo that the collection of waste which is taking place parallel to development projects has created areas where dengue mosquitoes can breed.
Dengue මදුරුවන් බෝ වීමට හැකියාව පවතින ප්‍රදේශ තියෙනවා කිහිපයක්.
මේ concrete veneer
When there is a concrete surface, water could be retained. Large numbers of mosquitoes could breed at these sites. Development is vital for us. At the same time, we must employ strategies to prevent mosquito breeding. Construction workers should know to monitor these locations. Chemicals to eradicate mosquitoes could also be used.
Meanwhile, public health officers who contacted Newsfirst yesterday following the airing of a news report on our primetime bulletin informed us that they are able to actively support and assist in dengue eradication programs. These officers, who are attached to the divisional MOH officers, have at present been entrusted with the task of eradicating malaria and filaria. It is notable that these officials have also undergone a year's training in mosquito eradication.
When malaria was on the rise, such incidents were reported. It was a difficult task for us to go from door to door in a bid to eradicate filaria. We have done such difficult tasks. If we are handed with that task, we will do it successfully. We have all the knowledge and data on mosquitoes, therefore it is not a big task for us.
Who is responsible for the failure to eradicate dengue? This was the question we posed to our viewers on our website www.newsfirst.lk. These were some of the responses we received.
Welcome back. The chairman of the National Trade Union Centre, K.D. Lalkantha, notes that they will begin a trade union campaign demanding that the allowances granted to state sector employees since 2006 be included as part of the employee's salary. He made this statement during a meeting held on the cancellation of gratuity payments for state employees.
The basic salary of government employees has not increased since January 2006. Individuals who retire today will retire on the salary that they earned in 2006. There's a big fight ahead for the trade unions, as we need to call on the authorities to include all allowances into the basic salary. We have already begun discussions with trade unions and we have made all preparations to fight for this issue. We demand that all allowances be included into the basic salary immediately.
K.D. Lalkantha also notes that steps are being taken to systematically abolish the pensions granted to state employees.
There is a plan in place to someday abolish the pension scheme and make sure new government employees receive some other benefit. We can protect this. How? Through the strength of the public and by creating a public opinion about it. This is one battle that should not be betrayed. We can win this battle. There are those who betray trade union movements in exchange for positions and titles. They don't attend such meetings. They work against it. Let them remain that way. Let the leaders idle. Let us mobilize the members of trade unions and carry out this task.
The United National Party alleges that the government is allocating less funds for education at present than it did during the war, owing to a memorandum reached with the International Monetary Fund. UNP National Leader Ranil Wickremesinghe recently alleged that funds were not being allocated for education owing to the memorandum between the government and the IMF. Speaking at a media briefing convened in Colombo today, UNP MP Akila Viraj Karyavasam responded to the statement made by Education Minister Bandula Gunawardena in this regard.
I saw the Minister of Education responding to this at a media briefing convened yesterday, where he challenged us to present the agreement that was reached with the IMF. It is evident to me through this that the Education Minister in our country does not have the average level of intelligence to differentiate between an agreement and a memorandum. The government has continuously agreed with the IMF and the World Bank to cut back on welfare spending in education. Not only in education, the government has even agreed to cut back spending on health. The opposition leader said clearly on that day that there was a memorandum with the IMF. Funds are not being allocated owing to this memorandum, or rather, loans are being granted on the condition that welfare spending will be cut back. There was a war in this country. Why is it that allocations for education, which were not cut back during the war, are now being cut back continuously?
Staying on the subject, journalists also questioned IMF delegates at a media briefing held in Colombo today on allegations levelled at the organisation that the IMF had insisted on cutbacks to education spending in Sri Lanka.
This is an issue that also puzzles us a little bit. To be clear, it's not an issue that we discussed during this mission. It's not an issue we discussed in previous missions. Rather, to the contrary, in our view, we see continued spending on education as vital. Really, to the contrary, we see continued investment in human resources and the skills match as vital, which is why, actually, one of the reasons why we continue to come back to revenue. The government needs the fiscal space in order to pay for this continued investment.
UNP parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa says that the authorities must explain to the country the reality of the current status of the education system. The parliamentarian made this statement at an event held in Valasmulla this afternoon.
Since 2005, the current rulers, the current government, have slashed fund allocations for education annually. The education minister has said that if we can prove the allegation that he is selling education, he will resign. I wish to say that the education minister does not have the moral right to talk about this. This is because you are falsely trumpeting to this country on education 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. You speak of free education in parliament and on the political stage, but when you go to a school, you will see that it is the children that are paying the electricity bill. That is the reality. If this is a lie, then I am prepared to resign my seat in parliament.
This event was organised to donate building materials towards the construction of the Chaitya at the Olu Arasri Purva Rama Viharaya. The event was organised parallel to a series of programs being implemented to commemorate the 21st death anniversary of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa.
The parents of a student attached to a school in Kandy filed a complaint with the police, stating that the principal of the school had assaulted their children as they were unable to make payments for additional classes. The parents pointed out that all three of their children have been barred from entering the school premises until the payment is made.
The parents and their three children arrived in the Central Province Department of Education today to lodge a complaint against the injustice they have suffered. They said that the principal of a school in Nelly Golladeltota located in Kandy had assaulted one of the children for making a payment for the extra class conducted in preparation of the scholarship examination. The parents added that the principal had resorted to seek revenge from other children as well.
They'd asked my son for 250 rupees for the extra class. I said that this is a matter that needs to be discussed with the parents. I told the teacher that I have given her photocopies of documents worth 800 rupees and requested her to pay the 250 rupees and hand over the remaining 550 rupees to me.
They told me to go home and come with my parents. Then he said that things do not take place here the way we want and asked all three of us to leave.
However, there were no officials present at the Provincial Education Office to accept the complaint.
There was no official present at the Central Province Department of Education. Neither the Provincial Director nor the Zonal Director were present. All of them are in Teldenia. Rather than taking an immediate measure, they are wasting time and playing with the children's lives.
When inquired, the principal of the school stated that such an assault did not take place and went on to note that payments were not requested for additional classes held for the scholarship exam. Meanwhile, 3 students from Homagama have been assaulted by a local residing close to their home.
There are no fruits in the tree in their garden. He had taken away the 3 children and beaten them, saying that they had broken fruit. 2 were slapped and the other was inhumanely attacked. Some other children had broken fruit and run away. We do not know who did it. When we were walking, a person came and beat us. We told him that we did not do it and that we never went that way. Then he started hitting the other boy and dragged him to his house and closed the gate.
Meanwhile, 3 students from Homagama have been assaulted by a local residing close to their school. The children who were assaulted had left the Homagama hospital after receiving treatment. The suspected assailant was arrested and released on bail.
A number of protests were staged in several parts of the island today.
A group of individuals attached to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party Trade Union's Katunaike Airport branch staged a protest today. They charged that the Chief Security Officer of the airport is acting in an arbitrary manner.
මේ ප්‍රදේශයේ ඉන්න දාමරිකයන් ඒ වගේම ගුවන්තොටුපළේ
On the 21st of this month, a group of local thugs and a group of off-duty employees entered the VVIP lounge. They went there in a convoy. I am willing to testify on this. They have removed the CCTV footage of this incident from the footage database as well. This is a serious issue. The security chief, Chintaka Kumarasinghe, is responsible for creating such a situation. He has been removed from his position for now. We request that a new individual be appointed in his place.
A letter highlighting the protesters' issues were handed over to Minister Dayashita Thisera and Deputy Minister Sarath Kumar Gunaratna, who arrived at the location.
We don't want an individual who attempted to destroy our trade union and who used his power to defeat Comrade Mohandiram. We do not want his military rule here. We want an individual who rules according to the Mahinda Chintanaya. The charges that you levelled will be brought to the attention of the President through your subject minister. If this individual is at fault, then on behalf of the SLFP trade union movement, I will request that he be punished.
We inquired about the matter from the head of security at the Katunayake airport.
The CCTV system is being maintained by the National Intelligence Service and the Air Force Intelligence Service. All recordings are being handled by the Electronic Division. We do not have any control over it. This is an issue to individuals who commit wrongs. The SLFP trade union is a good institution and even I am an individual who contributes to it. However, we maintain the necessary protocols.
Meanwhile, a protest was staged against the transfer of the principal of the DB Velagadara Central College to the Sir John Kothalawal College. The protest was staged by the parents of students.
Protect our children. We are engaging in this protest, calling on this principal to be retained by the school.
Tense situation erupted between members of the school development committee and the protesters. UPFM member of the Kurunagala Pradeshya Sabha, Dominic Ranasinghe, met with the protesters.
I spoke to Minister Jayaratna Herath and he told me to inform all of you that the transfer of the principal of DB Velagadara Central College has been cancelled.
The group dispersed following the statement made by the Pradeshya Sabha member.
Well, the Colombo District Court issued an enjoining order today preventing Dr. Sapumal Dhanapala, a member of the Board of Governors of Trinity College, Kandy, who was appointed to the board by the school's staff guild, from continuing to function in that position. Court also granted notice of interim injunction on all parties. The matter will be called again on the 13th of June.
President's Counsel Faiza Mustafa and attorneys at law Isru Bala Patabandi, Navoda Wijayaratna and Pulasti Rupasinghe appeared for the plaintiff, another member of the Board of Governors, at the Colombo District Court today in this case. While Dr. Dhanapala was appointed as a member of the Board of Governors of Trinity College, Kandy recently by members of the tutorial staff, a member of the Board of Governors filed action seeking an injunction restraining Dr. Dhanapala from acting in the Board of Governors as he does not possess the necessary qualifications under the Constitution of the Board of Governors and according to the Staff Guild Operational Manual to become a member of the Board of Governors of Trinity College, Kandy.
When this matter was taken up in the District Court of Colombo today, the District Court of Colombo issued an enjoining order restraining the sixth defendant, Dr. Sapumal Dhanapala, from operating as a member of the Board of Governors of Trinity College.
Also in news from the courts, UNP Western Provincial Councillor and former opposition leader of the Negombo Urban Council, Royce Fernando, has been returned to remand custody until the 13th of June. Fernando was produced in the Negombo Magistrates Court this morning.
Royce Fernando was arrested about 3 months ago in connection with a theft at a jewellery shop in Negombo. He was placed in remand custody for 90 days while investigations were conducted and was produced in the Negombo Magistrates Court once again today. After considering the report presented by the police on the charge of possession of a firearm against a provincial councillor, the magistrate ordered that Royce Fernando be returned to remand custody until the 13th of June.
Bail has been rejected on the grounds that the magistrate does not have the power to do so under the firearms ordinance. But there is a notable feature in this case. The notable feature is that with regard to the first accused in the case, Tharindu Costa, the police themselves have produced him in court and have taken steps to secure his bail in spite of the firearms ordinance. So the police who did this today opposed bail being granted to Royce Fernando. Nevertheless, I believe that the magistrate issued the correct order. What we can do is seek redress from the High Court against this order. We can also say that the judge has made all the necessary provisions for Royce Fernando to conduct his duties in the Provincial Council and to attend council sessions.
Crime Watch is up next.
In the ongoing investigations into the mysterious murder of a female external degree undergraduate in Mathale, the police have thus far recorded statements from 22 persons. The police say that the victim's mother and 3 brothers were among those that statements were obtained from. The police add that 3 police teams are conducting investigations into the homicide. While the cause of death has not yet been determined with certainty, the police say that they are following all available leads. The police are following several lines of investigations into what led to the murder, and the possibilities include a property dispute, a private contract and a failed rape attempt. The stripped down and washed body of a 23-year-old Lalani Nishani was discovered on the morning of the 25th of this month in Mathale in a shrubbery close to her home. A function had been held at her residence the previous night.
A stock of expired chocolate weighing 56,000 kilograms and worth nearly 100 million rupees was found in a storage facility in Sidua today. The head of the Gampaha District Consumer Affairs Authority, Ranjit Siriwardana, said that some of it was to be exported while the remainder was to be sold in the domestic market. Investigations revealed the date of expiry on the chocolates had been changed to 2016. 3 individuals were arrested in connection with the incident.
Still in local news, the Railways Department noted that train services on the upcountry railway line will not recommence till the threat of landslides has passed. A landslide and boxslide took place between the Demodara and Udunura railway stations recently, hindering train services. Work continued for a 3rd day today to clear the track.
Around 120 feet of the upcountry railway line was damaged during an earth slip that occurred recently between the Demodara and Udunura train stations. Assistant District Engineer of Nanu Oya, Asanga Dharmasena, noted that 20 feet of the railway track was cleared off earth and boulders by last evening. Workers began using explosives to clear boulders on the railway track this morning. The Assistant District Engineer notes that this track has to be done in a controlled manner as the steep slope present in the area together with the presence of individuals residing downhill creates a dangerous situation. The explosions are being conducted under the supervision of the Badula District Assistant Controller of Explosives. 48 of the 80 boulders that obstructed the railway line have now been destroyed. The Assistant District Engineer of Nanu Oya believes that the railway track will be completely cleared by Sunday. Meanwhile, Director of the National Building Research Organization's Landslide Studies Unit and Risk Management Division, RMS Bandara, noted that the officers attached to the NBRO in Badula are currently inspecting the areas surrounding the railway line. He noted that experts will be mobilized to conduct a study on the surroundings of the upcountry railway line. Meanwhile, area residents charged that the disposal of earth and rocks from the railway track is being done in a hazardous manner.
They move the rocks uphill, and during heavy rains, these rocks will fall onto our houses and even obstruct the road.
During the rainy season, these rocks will fall off again and obstruct the railway line.
Train services along the upcountry railway line continue to be restricted to Bandaravilla. As a result of this, commuters travelling from Colombo to Badula are forced to disembark from Bandaravilla and seek alternate means of transport.
It has been confirmed that debris retrieved by a group of fishermen in the sea of Moragalla Alutkama belongs to a aircraft. Media spokesperson of the Air Force, Wing Commander Gihan Senviratna, said that the discovered debris was of a pulley used in the aircraft.
The debris, which was discovered by a group of fishermen in the seas of Morogoro, was subjected to inspections by a group of specialists from the Air Force. Air Force spokesperson Wing Commander Gihan Senevaratne noted that the inspections confirmed that the debris belonged to an aircraft, but added that it did not belong to a Sri Lanka Air Force craft.
We cannot precisely say which aircraft this part belongs to, but what we can confirm is that the debris is of an aircraft. This part is used in a number of aircrafts. It helps the pilot change course of the aircraft. It is a pulley. When you present this code AN206A, the manufacturer of this part will give you this pulley.
Could this part belong to an aircraft that crashed into the sea?
This part does not corrode due to seawater, however the cables around it do. This corrosion on these parts are more prominent. Such a discovery can only be made if there is a plane crash. According to my memory, there are no records of such a plane crashing into the sea. These cables prove that it belonged to an aircraft. In that case, there should be more debris.
Meanwhile, the fishermen from the Morogoro area say that they have found metal debris caught in their nets on prior occasions as well.
මීට කලිනුත් මම හිතන මේ දැල්පන්න කරද්දී කොටස් 50ක් 100ක් අතර වගේ කෑලි ප්‍රමාණයක් මම අරන් ඇවිල්ලා ගොඩ දැම්මා. ඒ වෙලෙන් කිසිම ලාංඡනයක් මුකුත් තිබුණේ නැහැ කුමක්ද කියලා.
A special event is scheduled to be held in Sigiriya to mark the 16th anniversary of Sirasa TV. Now, during the Dambula Pradesh Sabha meeting held yesterday, it was proposed that a by-road at TB Tennakon Mawatha in Sigiriya be renamed Sirasa Mawatha. The proposal was approved by the members of the Pradesh Sabha.
On the 10th of June, this road will be renamed Sirasa Mawatha. This is being done in commemoration of the 16th anniversary of the Sirasa network. A number of Shramadana activities as well as other community service projects have been organized in the area in line with the anniversary. Renovation activities on the road commenced today with the participation of senior executives of Sirasa TV.
We are a media organization which over the past 16 years has done many things for the people of this country. I must say that we are extremely proud of this step that has been taken to express gratitude. I must also remind you that on the 10th we will be holding several programs in the Sigiriya area at schools and programs to provide relief to the people.
The members of the Dambula Pradesh Sabha, including our chairman, decided unanimously yesterday to rename this road. Accordingly, today this road is being resurfaced and beautified with the sponsorship of the Sirasa Media Network. KJ Somatilaka, the chairman of the Dambula Pradesh Sabha, tabled the proposal to rename the by road as Sirasa Mawatha at the sittings yesterday.
The Sirasa Media Organization is an institution that renders a yeoman's service to the media industry in the country. They have voiced their independent opinion regarding politics in the country, irrespective of the party. The road that will be renamed the Sirasa Mawatha is a by-road located 500 meters down TB Tennakon Mawatha. I urge the council to endorse this proposal.
The proposal to rename the road as the Sirasa Mawatha was endorsed by all Pradesh Sabha members unanimously. As opposition members, we express our gratitude for the community service projects that are to be launched in this area. We will extend our support for this project.
And in news on the economic front, the International Monetary Fund forecasts that Sri Lanka's economy will continue to grow at 7% in 2014. The IMF staff mission, which arrived in Sri Lanka last week as part of an ongoing follow-up mission with regard to the standby arrangement of $2.6 billion provided to Sri Lanka in 2009, convened a media briefing at the Central Bank in Colombo today at the conclusion of their fact-finding mission.
Speaking at the media briefing convened today, the IMF mission chief, Todd Schneider, projected that real economic growth in Sri Lanka will continue at 7%.
The mission projects real growth to continue at around 7% and inflation to remain close to current rates in 2014. Strong export growth is likely to continue and may facilitate continued reduction of the external current account deficit, which could leave room for additional accumulation of international reserves by the central bank. However, low tax revenue mobilization remains a concern, particularly given what we see as a heavy debt level and the ongoing shift from concessional to more expensive loans on commercial terms.
Schneider also commented on the current monetary policy stance and the need for improved corporate governance accompanying financial sector consolidation.
On monetary policy, the current supportive monetary policy stance appears appropriate given low inflation and moderate private sector credit growth. Changes in policy rates have also brought about a welcome reduction in lending rates. However, given strong growth and the long lags involved in the operation of monetary policy, a continued forward-looking approach to monetary policy is needed together with close monitoring of potential price pressures. The mission highlighted that restructuring operations will be key to achieving the efficiencies of scale and gains, but it's also important this be accompanied by continued improvement in corporate governance.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open 2 tourist hotels parallel to the program to achieve 2.5 million tourists visiting Sri Lanka in 2016.
The 2 hotels equipped with all modern facilities and amenities are located in Bentota and Indurua. Following the opening of the 2 hotels, the President also inspected them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pantanas.
Meanwhile, the President also participated in a program to release baby turtles at the Bentota Turtle Sanctuary.
On to news overseas. Indian police have arrested 1 man and are looking for 4 other suspects after 2 teenage girls were gang raped and then hanged from a tree in a village in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. There is outrage over police inaction in a village in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh where the 2 teenage girls were hanged from a tree. The father of one victim said that he was ridiculed by policemen when he sought help in finding his missing daughter.
The 2 cousins aged 14 and 15 who were from a low-caste Dalit community went missing from their village home in Uttar Pradesh's Budan district when they went out to go to the toilet on Tuesday evening. The following morning, villagers found the bodies of the 2 teenagers hanging from a mango tree in a nearby orchard.
The case is of Khatra village under South Naj locality in Ushat police station, in which the bodies of 2 girls were found hanging from a tree. The family members complained that they had initially lodged a complaint with the officers at the police station, but they did not pay any heed or give any response. In the morning, the bodies of the girls were found hanging from a tree. We have registered a case now. The family has alleged that the girls were raped before they were killed. 5 persons have been named, in which there are 2 constables too. Some of the accused persons have already been arrested.
The victims' families say the girls were gang raped and then hanged by 5 men from the village. They allege that local police were shielding the attackers as they refused to take action when the girls were first reported missing. It was only after angry villagers found the hanging corpses and took the bodies to a nearby highway and blocked it in protest, the police registered a case of rape and murder.
Moving on to sports news now, the quarterfinals of Super Fighter, Sri Lanka's first reality sports TV program, are scheduled to commence at the Samanala grounds in Galle tomorrow. This is incidentally the first time in Sri Lankan sporting history where a boxing match of this nature is being held at such a location. 32 contenders are set to compete at the quarterfinals tomorrow. Super Fighter was organized with the intention of unearthing hidden boxing talent to represent Sri Lanka at the 2020 Olympics. Meanwhile, a musical show where the 12 finalists of Sirius Superstar are scheduled to perform will be staged at the Samanala grounds in Galle in line with the quarterfinals of Super Fighter tomorrow. Super Fighter is a joint initiative of Mass Holdings, Newsfirst, MTV and MBC.
And from the boxing ring to the football field, the Overseas School of Colombo Batramulla stormed to victory in their match at the Under-19 Schools Invitational Football Tournament. OSC came up against Ananda College Colombo today. The lads from OSC exerted their dominance early in the game and ended the first half with a commanding lead of 2-0. It was much the same in the second half, with OSC slotting in a brace for the scoreline to read 4-0 at the final whistle.
Up next is a look at the weather.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Weather First. As the weather for the next 24 hours is concerned, patchy damp weather conditions could be expected with temperatures hovering around 28 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius. Now these showers could develop into heavy showers towards the eastern parts of the country with spells of rain to take charge, with showers about 90 millimeters. Now bringing clouds and outbreaks of rain, the rain of course will be the heaviest across the Trincomalee districts, with temperatures ranging from 27 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius. Now we could be approaching the mid-20s where humid weather is set to take charge in the western province in the afternoon hours, and several spells of showers expected to develop into the evening hours in the western parts of the country as well. Well, similar conditions expected in the coastal line, the southern coastal line rather, of the island, with a tinge of rain, perhaps showery, coming in across the area over these districts. Same setup in the northern parts of the country as well. Now those were the weather conditions expected for the next 24 hours in these parts of the country. Let's now take a look at what could be expected in the other parts of the country.
And that's your news for this Friday night. I'm Sonali Vanigabadage.
And I'm Nadim Majid. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Just a reminder that you can keep abreast of all the stories we're following here at News First on newsfirst.lk. Good night and good luck.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.